And down here in the bottom left, representing All Inspiration, the Protoss player, it is Rhizer. Casted quite a few of Rhizer's games yesterday, chronicled his rise through the winner's side of the bracket. Plays a very mean standard style, mostly got him against Zerg players. Get to see what he does against a Terran of the caliber that Riddler is. Get to see what he pulls up. Gas getting taken down here. Probably going to go for a Nexus, if I recall correctly. And we'll get to see what they're going to pull out here. See if Riddler going to stick to his Avillo-esque guns here. Go for something cheeky and mechy. You know, we never know. You never know. It's always a pot of surprises here when you're casting the Riddler. Ooh, raises the ramp. Well played. Very micro-intensive. Reaper on the way, as well as the expansion here for Rhizer, getting his cybernetic score as well. Probe going to come in here, spot that expansion going down. Going to be a little cheeky here. This Reaper will be out with plenty of time to probably put an end to this tricksy little probe's life. It is now running for the hills. Doesn't want to get stopped today. Factory on the way here for our Terran player, as well as getting a reactor. Might see some Cyclones out of him once again. No, he's a fan of that. Reaper going to come out here, make sure no weird proxy is going to come out. This probe going to go ahead and make his way back in here. If he heads up the ramp, he will be able to spot that factory, but I'm sure he can just assume that that is there, and is going to trade his life just to be a bit annoying. And actually will get up there. Didn't quite see anything of value. Didn't see the factory or amount of refineries up in the main. Gateway, warp gate on the way, and the Stalker on the way as well. Getting the Twilight Council behind all this. This Adept moves to intercept this Reaper. Did spot it. Well done. So he will give a chase to that. Double Widow Mine on the way now for Riddler. And as well as Starport, and imagine he needs to put a Tech Lab on that. This Adept's going to come up here right about... Oh, doesn't raise the ramp, actually, so could have gotten in there. Besides, against it. Might be able to catch this singular SCV. Meanwhile, this Reaper gets in and will get a full scout off on the other side of the map. Is killing actually 2 probes there. And now is on the run. Gonna be able to see everything that is going on here. So he knows what options he has available to him. Spots the Robo facility as well. Dark Shrine is now going to be the choice here for Rhizer. Going to see what he is going to be able to do with that. See how well Riddler can respond. Did not foresee that, but he's getting a Raven, so he will have some detection to deal with it once it gets across. Now these mines getting burrowed here. Just going to kind of be all across the map here. Not really going to let anything cheeky get inside the main. Observer on the way here. It's going to be very useful for spotting those Widow Mines and moving around them. Gateways on the way. Nothing too crazy going on here. Looks like tank and Raven production still continuing. So he is going to be getting his 3rd command center up here on the high ground, nice and safe. Going to be able to defend that pretty easily. Luckily for us, he's not choosing to continue making more Ravens. Dark Shrine on the way. And it looks like he will be swapping off of having that Tech Lab on there in order to put a reactor down. Curious to see what he decides to add onto there. No stim or anything coming out just yet. No barracks with a Tech Lab. Looks like he will be doing that now. Meanwhile, on the other side, getting the Dark Templar upgrade there. And really curious to see what he decides to pull out for this. See how well Riddler can respond. That Raven is going to be so key in holding this. If Rhizer is able to pull it down, take it down, then he will be in a pretty decent spot here. Dark Templars now moving in as that upgrade still not quite finished. Looks like this one's going to head over here. An attempt to siege the front. Does see the Raven. Not quite pulling out just yet. Looks like he will die, and now Riddler knows what is going on here. And knows he has a detection, so not feeling too worried about it. Widowmine almost taking that down, but he does find the gap and is able to make his way inside here. Going to be heading straight for that mineral line. No Widowmines in sight here. They're going to start taking them out. The Raven's on the way, though. Nice pickup there from Rhizer. Going to get himself out of there and make a quick escape. Got 5 gates over here. Getting added on. And this SCV out here is not long for this world. Yep, there he goes. Front of the base looking pretty impenetrable here with that orbital command at the front. Marauders on the way. Upgrade almost finished here for Rhizer. Pumping constant chrono boosts in, and looks like he's now making his way across the map for a little bit of a timing here. We'll be in a pretty decent spot. These Widow Mines are going to be very crucial in getting good hits off. So he is warping in some more Dark Templars and Zealots with charge. These Widow Mines, I think, are going to put a pretty quick end to this here. Rhizer's going to have to be super careful about how he engages as this Marine pokes that expansion. Stim is not done yet, though, and this Liberator is not quite set up yet. Oh, huge takeout, but he blinks on top. Oh, but the Widow Mines. Oh, the Widow Mines kill them all. Not what you want to see. Oh, no. Oh, not like this. All right, Rhizer's, he's warping in for another wave. He can still break this. If that Raven dies, then he will be in a very decent spot. There's no engineering bay on the map. There's no missile turrets, but that Raven has to die. The Raven is still up, and there's nothing they can shoot up. The Widow Mines are now getting taken out now while they're recharging, but they're almost ready to fire again, and they're firing right in the workers. But they do clean up the rest of the army as well. 44 workers to 44 here, but the army supply now 30 in favor of our Terran player. Still nothing they can shoot up here. It looks like he's not really worrying about taking that Raven down, and now the more and more Widow Mines on the way here are going to start burrowing right around the ramp here. Going to get very good shots. Dark Templar's going to have to blink away. It does not quite get the blink off, and the Raven stands strong here. These Dark Templar are not really able to get too much done here. He is getting some nice lost mining time and taking out a few of these workers. Does have his third base behind this. So, not the end of the world here for Rhizer, and he's still continuing to get more warp bids here. He has so many gates. It's kind of disgusting, actually. And now these army trading very well up here. As these Zealots and our Templar start working on the orbital command here, the Raven comes in to give some detection, and the Bio Force is going to start coming in here to try and clean this up. Widowmine gets a pretty decent hit on the Stalkers, on the Zealots, but it's not quite enough here. Oh, and the Warp Prism does go down. That's going to be the end of this push, and now it's up 20 supply for the Riddler, and 0 army supply here for Rhizer. Not great. You know, I think if he had tried to go up into the main, he might have been in a pretty good spot there. But, you know, just not quite able to find that opening in time. Widowmine's got such a nasty hit at the start. And just really put an end to that before it even began. Blink on the way as well as +1 attack. Starting to get some immortal production going on here as this 3 medevac drop heads towards the third base. This is going to be a pretty tough hold here for Rhizer. Going to need to get some warpins going right away, but looks like they're all going to be unloaded. And this army's going to move in here. This should be a dead Nexus here. This Dark Templar over here not quite able to get anything done. Taken out by those Marauders. Got some shells. Focus the pylon down first there. Good play there as he kills so many workers right now. Oh my god. Now down 7 workers is Rhizer as this Nexus does fall. +1 armor on the way for the Riddler, but I don't think it's even going to matter. He's going to march across the map and just put an end to this game. Does get forced back by the Charge Lots and Dark Templar there. Blink almost done, as well as +1 attack. Army supply is still almost double here for the Riddler, so if Rhizer is able to get a good engage and wipe this army, he might be in a pretty decent spot here. Warps in on the other side of the map, forces them to stop mining on this third base, takes out the missile turret, and not much else. And now down here, Riddler starting to make his way towards the main. That shield battery going to be very important in trying to hold here, but the army isn't all fighting at once. Those Dark Templar die for free, tried to blink to safety, but not quite able to make it. And the rest of this army is just going to get shredded by this Bio Force. GG, Riddler takes game number 1. Very, very well played. Just made an unstoppable little, unsiegeable little fortress, I guess you could say. and just really really punished that engage by Rhizer. Not able to keep those Dark Templars alive, and they died before it even really began. Unfortunate there, but Rhizer going to look to recover here heading into the second game, which we should be getting into here in just a second. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the support. Alrighty, guys. Heading in to game number 2 here of the Riddler versus Rhizer. TVP here, starting off. Going to be heading in to Acid Plant here. And spawning up here in the top left, in the red, it is the Riddler. And down here in the bottom right, in the purple, representing All Inspiration, on the edge of his life here, needs to make a 2-game comeback to stay alive in this qualifier. It is Rhizer. Alright, good luck, have funs in the chat. And now it's about time to see what these guys are pulling out here. You know, we saw in game 1, Rhizer going for a little bit of cheeky play there with those Blink Stalkers. It just wasn't quite able to head, or Blink Dark Templar, excuse me, and just not quite able to break the front there. Those Widowmines got some crazy hits. And now, gonna probably play a little bit more standard here. Don't want to really risk taking that big of a gamble on your life in this tournament. Winner will move on to face Im Canning in the next round. And now Probe gonna head up here, gonna get a full scout off here. Oh, it doesn't raise the ramp this time. Unlucky there. And Orbital Command on the way. Nexus getting taken here for Rhizer. Both these guys just doing exactly what we'd expect. SCV making his way across the map. Gonna see what's up. Cybercore on the way. Up here, this probe gonna get chased off, trying to be a little bit annoying, but not quite able to deliver. Score right now is 1-0 in favor of the Riddler. And he must be feeling pretty confident here. He played exactly the way that he wanted to play and was able to take down Rhizer, albeit due to holding a cheese. So really probably not going to be looking to change too much here. You know, he was able to shut that down pretty quickly with that Raven. You know, just very good game knowledge from him. Adept on the way, and a Stalker just to back him up. Meanwhile, this Marine holding the front of the base down as his expansion comes up. SCV is coming through here to get some scouting going. Gonna go ahead and get some music just to fill the dead air. And Marines versus Adept here. Adept will be forced to withdraw. Shade gonna force these Marines to not hunt him down until the end of his days. Factory now with the reactor, looking like he's gonna make some middle lines once again as the starport gets made. Stalker down here, just keeping his base safe. This SCV will not be able to get a scout off in any stretch of the imagination. As these Marines move down, continue to force his Shade out. Not even bothering to follow him this time, as he knows he has the Widow Mine to guarantee safety. Does actually manage to catch him there. Does take down the shield. Dark Shrine on the way once again here for Rhizer, as well as a Robo Facility. So he will have some options to do something similar, or be able to, really apply pressure with the Warp Prism and Dark Templar, as we saw him do last game, possibly this time with a little bit more success. There is no Raven out on the map just yet, but he does have what he needs to build one very quickly should he choose. And this Adept does end up getting caught and will get taken down, trading 1-for-1 with Marine there. Not exactly what you want, but not a big deal as well. Warp Prism on the way now, going to be making its way across the map right about the time the Dark Shrine will be finishing. So Rhizer clearly pretty comfortable with his playstyle, thinks he can execute it a bit better this time. Lots of open space up here in the main base to get these Dark Templar in and get them to start doing damage. Curious, and he is getting Stalker Blink. Curious to see if he goes for the Shadow Stride there for the Dark Templar. Excellent copy pastas in the chat. I like it. Over here on the right side, Stalker's making sure he stays safe. This with Spider Mine, Widow Mine, good lord. 4 Widow Mine drop, making its way across. And we'll be heading into the main base here. Let's see if there's anything to really defend. Stalkers are out of position here. And now's the time for Rhizer to start getting the heck out of Dodge. He gets these workers out of here before they burrow. But he is focused on getting across the map. His Dark Templars are arriving over here in the main base. But these Widow Mines getting very good hits here. Lots of workers going down. Still only 3 down here for Rhizer. And the second one will drop. Meanwhile, up here in the main, these Dark Templar are starting to get some kills. 4 kills already. But the missile turret not going down. And he fights with those bio. And it will get cleaned up here. All of these Widow Mines on the other side going to die as well. We are about even on workers right now. So both players going for the other's throat and not quite landing the crushing blow. Oh, did get one more shot off. 1 worker down now. Yeah, Mods, if you want to go ahead and get that under control. All right. So, just going to be poking at the front there, not quite able to get in. Warp Prism still attempting to do stuff. Now, more and more workers getting made for both these guys. 7 worker lead as he has that 3rd base already secured. Liberator going to go ahead and chase off that Warp Prism charge on the way, and Concussive Shells finishing up here for the Terran. +1 ground army on the way. +1 ground weapons, excuse me, on the way. Liberator is flying faster and will eventually kill this Warp Prism. Sad days for him. 1 more shot will do it, and down he goes. This Dark Templar hiding over here. Command Center at the front here. Going to be used for a little bit of defense, and also enables him to secure that 3rd really quickly as soon as he's able to. Or desires to, I should say. Army supply is pretty heavily in favor of the Riddler here. Workers 6 up here for our Protoss player. Stalkers going to be making their way across the map here, seeing what they can see. Meanwhile, this Bioforce is starting to secure this 3rd base location. Might be making their way across the map. Looks like they are. Going to trade map positions here, but he will get spotted by these 2 Marines. Is going to go ahead and take them out, but the Riddler is now just turning back. Okay. We'll be able to delay the CT for a second here with 2 Swing Stalkers. This case, going to be trying to keep him alive for as long as I can, but the Stalker's getting shredded already. No Blinks coming out just yet. Alright, he will run away. Loses a few there. Not exactly what you want. Dark Templar trying to do a little bit of work, but we'll just get scanned and taken down. Forced to recall those Stalkers back home. And now Marines and Marauders going to be coming across. A little bit more Marines and Widow Mines coming down here. Going to be able to pressure this third base. +1 armor on the way as this Liberator moves in here. Going to be able to get one, probably two workers here once this one leaves. It's safe little geyser. But other than that, not too much. Meanwhile, down here, this pylon's going to get taken out, and he's going to start moving up here towards these shield batteries and starting to siege that. Meanwhile, another drop heading into the main base here. The full army of Rhizer is forced to deal with this as these Widow Mines get not really the great hits they want. Meanwhile, the drop up here is starting to take down some of these facilities here. Going to be able to delay these upgrades if he's able to do it. Takes down the Stalker. Takes down the only Dark Templar in the area. Going to go ahead and focus on the enemies warping in here. The upgrade is still safe for now, so +1 armor is still on the way here. Not quite able to get the cancel on it just yet for the Riddler. And now he is continuing to trade very well here, getting a lot of work done. The full army of Rhizer forced to pull back here. Does take out one medevac, so that's good. But meanwhile, this push down here continues here for the Riddler. He is taking down a Zealot, almost. Shield Battery doing a lot of work there, keeping it alive. Not quite enough DPS here. More Marines and Marauders being rallied back at home. +2 on the way, as well as thermal lances here for these Colossi, which are out on the map. I think he only has the one right now. Apologies for a little bit of a sloppy cast just then. I had to actually set up a moderator or two so the chat wouldn't be full cancer. A little bit of cancer is okay. But, you know, never let it go full cancer. Never go full turtle. You know, that's what they always say. Armory on the way now. I think he's going to get some upgrades here. As +1 weapons on the way. A lot later in this series than he has been in his series versus Avillo. Curious why that is. Maybe he feels like he doesn't need it. He is completely behind in upgrades right now. 1-1 already finished here for the Protoss. So his army will not be trading quite as efficiently as he wants here. As for these Colossi are out, it's going to make it a pretty tough fight here. Has to push into the Liberator zone, so Stalkers go to and pick those off. Nice force fields here, and this Bio army is getting shredded by these Colossi, and they're forced to lift off and run away. Oh, and he does get the snipe on that medevac. Very well done there by Rhizer, and now he has the lead. And we'll be able to push across very soon. Marines and Marauders continuing to get pumped out here. Just really committing to this Bioforce. No tanks, really. Only the Liberators here. There's such a number of Blink Stalkers here. Makes it very difficult for him to be able to really use those Liberation Zones well. Has to be very careful where he positions his Bio underneath it. And like we've seen it before, if you set up all over here, you're able to pressure this fourth base very easily. Liberators moving in on both mineral lines in the main and the third here. Looks like he will get a few shots off here. Yeah. Alright, and then now here come the Blink Stalkers. But in the main here, Rhizer already warping in to deal with it. Blinks on top of it, and we'll take it out before too much damage is done. The Bio moving up in the top side. Loading up, and we'll go ahead and move on in here. Looks like he is just going to try and pick Rhizer apart with these multi-pronged attacks. Has the Liberators moving in to harass the middle lines. He's doing a very nice job of keeping it up. And now more and more units making their way across the map here. Riddler really getting in position here, but these Liberators dying for nothing while the rest of the army doesn't quite move in. Ooh, these Widow Mines might get some pretty good hits here. Take out 4 or 5 workers there. That's pretty nice. 55 to 64 now in favor of the Riddler. And this Bioforce is moving in. Medevac's going to have to regroup with it. It looks like one of them did get picked off. And now these guys moving up here going to try and pressure this fourth base as the army is in position on the top side to go ahead and continue the aggression. And looks like they've already revealed their position, and now moving in on both sides here. The top side is going to go ahead and win that fight. Rhizer's army completely out of position here. Is caught completely off guard by this. The Nexus is getting focused down now, and on the other side, Dark Templar is being used to hold it off, but it's not quite enough. And the Nexus does die, and he's able to get this army out safely. That is huge for Riddler. And now workers dying over here. He's forced to use a recall to just get across the map here. So many workers dying here. He's now 20 down. And the army supply is still even. And the Blitz army up here is still alive and still able to come in and force another cancel on this in just a couple seconds here. Got to cancel off and now is able to just withdraw. And meanwhile, another army of even bigger proportions is down here, ready to pressure this third base. Rhizer's committing up here to try. He has to crush one of these pincers and is not able to do it. Now he's able to already be on this Nexus, and the army up here continue to put pressure on. Rhizer is just getting pulled apart here. He's not able to handle these multiple fronts. Nexus is getting taken down here. Still hasn't been able to rebuild this one up here, and now be forced to start reestablishing this one. His income is completely in tatters here. And the Marines and Marauders moving in up here to go ahead and finish the job on that assimilator. Those dirty, no good assimilators. Got to finish him off. And now 4 Colossi here, gonna have to be the last hope. He does have Templar Archives here, might be able to get some Archons or Storms, depending on what he's feeling. No Storm getting researched just yet, though, so it probably will be those Archons. This army up here is still maintaining ground here. Rhizer really needs to deal with that, but right as he does so, Riddler already in position, moving in here, gonna go ahead and start taking out this Nexus here, and Rhizer, still, his income is only on these 2 bases, and then there's a drop in the natural, and there's a drop in the main. It is taking out tons of workers here. Tons and tons of workers going down here. It's 31 to 66. Dark Templars getting worked in to deal with that. Meanwhile, the main army, actually picks off a lot of medevacs there. That is not what you want for the Riddler. That is the one hope he has here. He has to keep those medevacs alive so he can continue healing his army against the Storms and the Colossi that'll be coming out. And now more and more Archons coming out here, and they are pushing their way across the map. Warp Prism here going to be very important for keeping the reinforcements alive. This drop in the main going to get cleaned up here in just a second once those Zealots decide to get their stuff together. Not enough Vikings on the map here just yet. Only 4 against these 4 Colossi, and there's such a large number of Blinkstalkers. It's just not quite enough. Oh, but he might have overextended there with that Blink. The Colossi now a little bit exposed, but the army is getting shredded. The very nice Storms coming down here on top of the Vikings and the Bio. The Bio is getting shredded here. 48 armor squad at 37 here, and the Rhizer is marching forward here. He has killed the Bio, and he is marching up into the natural here, taking down more and more. The medevacs all fall, and the Vikings soon to follow. GG, Rhizer pulls it back and forces the game 3. Very well played there. Wow, very nice engage there. The Riddler doing an amazing job of pushing across the map and on multiple flanks, making sure everything, keeping Rhizer in his base, keeping him from really establishing his income there. But then, Protoss, man, what are you gonna do? Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back in just a couple minutes here with game number 3 of the Riddler versus Rhizer. Thank you all so much for watching. Alrighty, guys, here it comes. Game number 3, Riddler versus Rhizer. We're going to be ending this off on Backwater. It's going to be a pretty sick one, guys. Gonna see what these guys decide to pull out. You know, we saw game 1, Riddler played the way he wanted to. Game 2, Rhizer played the way he wanted to. Got picked apart on multiple fronts, was able to rally the troops and push across and end the game. And now, up here in the top left, in the red, representing Fakeavillo, it is the Riddler. And down here in the bottom right, in the purple, representing All Inspiration, looking to carry the momentum to win this game 3, it is Rhizer. Really excited to see what goes on here, especially on this classic map with the Riddler. You know, Riddler, obviously very familiar with this map, spent 3.5 hours in it alongside us yesterday. Rhizer going to go ahead and make an early scout here. And, you know, Riddler just going to go ahead and, you know, play standard, I think. I think if he plays standard and just does a better job of recognizing the amount of Colossi and what he needs to counter that, you know, Vikings, keeping his bio not as clumped, needs to, you know, I think if he had a more respectable Viking count there, he would have been able to hold that pretty easily. But his army was just so spread out from keeping those multi-part attacks going, and he wasn't able to really ever able to deal fatal damage. Only enough damage to force Rhizer to move his superior army across the map. Give him just a little bit too much time there. Allowed him to get those storms that he needed to get, Archons to back up those Colossi. Just waited a little bit too long there and was punished for it. Now this probe just staying alive here, being a little bit of an annoyance. Gonna head down here into this pocket third and see what's going on. Meanwhile, you know, Adept coming out here. Curious to see if he's going to go for a Dark Shrine 3 games in a row. Thank you all so much for the support, guys. Really appreciate it. Still completely blown away by the love. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Meanwhile, Factory coming out here on the other side. Got a command center almost finishing up here. Meanwhile, Nexus already done here for our Protoss. Starport on the way here, and looks like he's going to be getting the reactor. I imagine he's going to go for Widow Mines again. Looking like he's going for Hellions this time. Okay, a little bit of a mix-up here. Curious what he's going to do. Curious to see what he pulls out with this, as the Riddler going to go ahead and get a Tech Lab on here. Probably going to be looking for some Stim, or he could be going for some sort of Banshee play, something along those lines. Have to see what he decides to pull out with that. Warp Gate on the way, as well as a Twilight Council. This Reaper already in here. And actually, Probe's having to get pulled to deal with that a little bit. And we'll get Force off here, but he does know exactly what's going on here. Now, this Adept coming down here, forcing that Mule and those few SCVs away. Gonna go ahead and take some hits on there. Oh, and these Hellions actually going in here. 2 Stalkers already in position. Gets a really nice lineup, actually, there. Kills 3. More than I think he should have gotten there. Good for him. That was a really good little trade there. 2 Widow Mines now out on the map. Going to go ahead and try and put an end to this Adept's life. Not quite going to be able to do it. And Cloak is on the way for these Banshees now. Cyclones are also out on the map. So he's going to have a very... Oh my god. Fuck. Alright, well, fuck me. Alright, it's fixed. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Well, yeah, it's fixed. Sorry, guys. Rhizer's in the bottom right here. Riddler's in the top left. Totally my fault. Anyway, Cloak on the way now. Units lost here, 6-5. Few workers getting killed. Dark Shrine finishing up here. Killing these rocks. And the Banshee going to start making his way around here. Got Cloak on the way. Moving down here. And meanwhile, we got the Shadow Stride here on the way for the Dark Templar. So Rhizer looking to execute that same build from game 1 that we saw not quite work because it was on the ramp. We had those Widow Mines just completely ravage them. There is no detection here, and I don't think he even has any detection on the map. So this Cloak is going to be pretty deadly here once the response comes over. Only one Observer. And let's even see where it's at here. Observer is moving his way over now, so this is the time where he'll be able to hold it. Killing a lot of workers here. 7 kills already, almost 8. Not what you want. Man, that was just really, really too much damage there. Pretty hard little hold. But now, you know, Rhizer is in position to go ahead and do the Blink Dark Templar. He's already up in the main here. The Raven is out, though. We saw this last time. This push just wasn't able to work because of that Raven. The Raven is so key in holding this, and it will get taken out. So the Warp Prism moves back in here, actually gets a drop in, is killing quite a few of these workers at a time now. Viking going to start chasing this out. It's getting dangerously low health, actually. Has to drop 2 of them, abandoning them there in the main base. The Cyclone might actually go down here, but so does the Warp Prism. Oh, and the Cyclone actually lives with 4 health. Wow. Alrighty. So, not what you want for Rhizer here. The aggression is forced to stop now as he continues adding on a few more gates, forcing to take the slow way across the map. And Blink for the Dark Templar is now done. Gonna go ahead and wait for some reinforcements while this Warp Prism comes out. Now they're all on the way across as the Warp Prism has been rebuilt. Army 26 to 29 now. Missile turrets on the way to help with that detection inside the base and inside the mineral lines, I'd imagine. But now at the front here, for the Rhizer, the key here is going to be taking down this Raven. That is going to be the most important thing. Yeah, and now he's at the front here. Only one Widow Mine here. There is a tank here, and his army is very dangerously comes up here. The Stalkers need to be taking down this Raven if he wants to be able to take this down. But the Blink Dark Templar blink in there and immediately shred those tanks. That is brutal. And now Army Supply 15 to 31. Rhizer pushing forward here. The Observer is still alive, and he is pushing forward, killing even more of these workers. 44 to 53. Still a lead for Riddler here, but it's not quite enough. More Warpins coming in. Still nothing they can shoot up, though. So this Raven is still alive and still able to see all of these Dark Templar before they're even able to get up in there. Now, the tank up here does get blinked on top of and taken out. The worker's not quite enough. There's only one Hellion up there. The Banshee coming in now to do what it can. Oh, and the Warp Prism does get muted there, so it's not able to warp in those Stalkers. So this Banshee will eventually be able to clean this up until that thing runs out, and then he will be able to warp in finally. Now doing so, and he is doing all that he can, taking down more supply depots, and this tank comes out, but it's in hostile waters. The Dark Templar takes it out now. The Hellion also going to soon follow. Now the Zealots are in the mineral line. The Siege Tank comes out now, and the Raven is still alive here. This is such a close fight here. 18 arms fight to 19. The Banshee is close. The Observer is out of position here, not able to see it. It is doing all it can. Rhizer's freaking out. He has to warp in some more stuff that can shoot up. He needs some Stalkers. He needs an Archon. Oh, but the Warp Prism is forced out here, but the Missile Turret actually helping to finish it off. And now it's just these Dark Templar here doing all they can, cleaning up some more. 44 workers to 18, though, here. 20 armor supply to only 5 of Rhizer, but Rhizer is in such a dominant position in terms of income right now. Blink on the way, more Stalkers getting warped in here back at home, and Rhizer must be feeling very good right now. Oh man, crazy fight there. Tons of workers getting killed there. Take a look at units lost here. 84 units lost. Work supply 46 to 23. And now, +1 ground weapons on the way for Rhizer. Looks like he's content just to tech up for a little bit here as his third base finishes up. He's going to go ahead and get saturation going on that very quickly here as an armory comes down and a bunker at the front. Now, Banshee making its way across the map here. This third base undefended right now. The cannon not quite up, so he will have a little bit of window. He could also keep his Banshee right here and be completely safe. There is almost 2 workers going down there. Still only the 1 for right now. Oh, and actually it's going to get caught here between the cannon and the soccer. It's going to go down very quickly there. These Hellions going to come in for a run by here. No wall at the front, and it's going to head straight up into the main base, actually. Lots of workers here. Nice little warp in there to block it off. Oh, but it's not quite enough, and 3 get in. The rest will go into the natural. Not quite getting too much done here. Are going to get cleaned out pretty immediately, and not too much damage getting done. Now, more Siege Tanks in production here. He is currently at 2, going to be going up to 4, and he's getting mech weapons as well, plus 1 armor on the way. Raven still holding strong here. That Raven that was so key in holding that first attack. This Warp Prism not able to get too much done here. Missile turrets are in a very great play. Space, I should say. Archon's getting morphed in here now. As Rhizer making his way back across this map, heading towards the front here. These Blink Dark Templar are nowhere to be seen this time, and he does have blink for his stalkers, so he is going to have to get on top of these siege tanks if he's going to want to win this fight. Siege tank's going to be so crucial here as Liberator's getting a few shots off over here. Say he killed 4. This one over here still killing more at 5 right now, but here comes the attack at the front here. Warping on top of the tanks, but they do get taken out pretty immediately here. But now the full army moves in here. Immortal stuck at the back, but the siege tanks are going down, unsieged now. More warpins coming out. This one Liberator holding strong, firing as much as he can. The last Stalker does go down, so Liberator will eventually be able to clean it up. Nice warpins micro there, keeping the Immortal out of danger. And now the Immortal going to go to work on the siege tank, not quite dropping in on the high ground, and there he goes. And now going to go ahead and warp in some Stalkers here. Going to be able to shoot up here and take out this Liberator. Blinks on top of it and seals the deal. Thor is here, and it will be looking to hold this attack. 23 arms fight at 32 in favor of the Riddler right now. It's going to come down to Warp Prism Micro and how well he can take this engagement. No detection on the map. The scan was wasted there, and he does not have energy for another one just yet. Only 25 energy there. Does have energy on his 3rd command center. He has 1 more scan available to take out this 1 Dark Templar. And Rhizer is going to move down here and go ahead and take out this 3rd base. Going to go ahead and take out all the workers here. None of them are going to be able to escape here. And warping in at the front, Zealots and a Dark Templar. The Thor going to work on that Warp Prism. Warp Prism moves to safety and will not die today. Now the army getting a little bit split up here for Rhizer. Not what you need here. You need to be able to focus down this army at the same time. Thor going to start doing a lot of work on that Immortal, but the Immortal does stay alive for now. And it looks like Rhizer is just going to be looking to pull out of this. Killing a lot of workers there, 20, but he only has 28 of his own. This Liberator back at home killed so many. Those Liberators counterattack did so much damage on the other side. Now Rhizer pulling back. Going to be looking to reestablish this income here. He does have an income lead right now and is 11 workers up. Army supply in favor of the Riddler. I think mostly due to Rhizer not really producing much right now. Now they're going to be looking to see what's next here, what the next play is. Looks like Rhizer continue to put on some pressure here with these 2 Stalkers and Immortal, the Hitman squad. Oh, and that Immortal gets left to die. Unfortunate there. Oh, and the Warp Prism will get cleaned up as well. So that's the end of this aggression officially now. 37 arms supply to only 9. Rhizer has to be careful not to underproduce here and just die. If Riddler comes across the map right now, there isn't really much that Rhizer could do. He doesn't really have the army that he needs right now. He has 1 Immortal in production now. He has a Stalker. He has 2 Stalkers on the map and an Observer. That's it. He really needs to make some army here, or else he's just going to lose to this counterattack once it comes. And it looks like Riddler doesn't really realize the position he's in here. Rhizer is down in supply, and he doesn't have the army. He's warping into Zealots now. He's up on upgrades, 1/1 to only +1 mech. Here does have blink for those Stalkers and the Dark Templar. And now he's just sitting back right now. He really needs to get more army up. He could get some more Immortals. The 2nd robotics facility could have secured his 4th base behind this. Looks like he is going to do so now. But at this point, it might be a little bit too greedy. If Riddler sees that happening and decides to push across the map, Rhizer still doesn't have the army he needs to hold this. In the middle here, this Hellbat is going to spot this army moving across, sees the Immortal, which is a pretty telltale sign of aggression. And now these Liberators are going to move out here to try and apply some pressure. Probably going to be heading for those mineral lines of that juicy main and natural. And Rhizer going to go ahead and back off here and keep himself safe. +2 mech army on the way, as well as this upgrade here. +2, 2 on the way here for the Protoss. Liberators up on the top. Still behind 20 army supply for Rhizer here. Is up about 20 workers though. They are otherwise dead even on supply. And now here comes the Liberator here, going to be looking for a little bit more shots. Scan comes through. Might have given away that that's what he's planning, but it looks like Rhizer isn't aware just yet. And is going to get a few shots off here. 1, 2, 3. Alright, only 3 this time. The Stalkers will be able to get warped in here and deal with that here in just a second. Mule's getting called down. You know, taking a look at army compositions here, we got 9 Zealots, 3 Immortals, an Archon, and 7 Stalkers here, compared to a lot of Siege Tanks and a lot of Hellbats. Those Zealots aren't really going to be able to do much. He's going to need some more Stalkers, some more Immortals, and those Archons, which are so expensive right now. Losing all of this mining time right here because he doesn't have the Stalkers required to deal with this is not what you need at a time like this. You're still down 30 army supply, and Riddler is only getting more and more capable of killing this army. Now, Hellions moving across the map here, going to be looking for a run-by. Looking like it will not be able to do too much here. Rhizer's army is already positioned, but he still walks by him, so we'll get a few kills here, I suppose. And now Rhizer is down in workers. Down 9 workers now after being up by about 20. And it's still not mining here on the 3rd base. Meanwhile, 3 bases of saturation here for the Terran. A little bit under, but not too much. And now the game stabilizes for a little bit here. Rhizer doesn't really have the income to really build anything. We have 2,500 minerals coming in for the Riddler, and he is spending it on Banshees, tanks. He's getting upgrades, everything that he needs to counter this army. Getting some Phoenixes now for Rhizer, but I don't think they're going to be out in time. He's not even able to mine at the middle 2 things of his main base. Has 4 kills on this one. 3 kills on this one. That's 7 workers already just between those 2. Hellions up here on the run from these Blink Stalkers. And meanwhile, down here, even more Hellions making their way across the map. Going to be heading in towards this workers. More tanks coming out now as these Hellions continue to be a nuisance, just looking for any spot to get in. Down here on the bottom side, looks like we'll be able to cancel this base. That probe's never even going to put it down. Blue Flame does some work. These 3 Hellions going to head up here. Realizing that he's still not mining up here. Still not much going on. They do get killed down here. Those Hellions try and get a bit more. 36 workers to 50 now. Gets a few. And now these Blink Stalkers out on the front side here going to realize what a situation he is in here. Playing against mech, and he is down in workers. He's down in army supply. Loses a few Stalkers there just from the blink. And now it is going to be a tough hold for Rhizer. And Riddler moving these tanks out across the map. Tries to scan and catch that observer. Not quite able to, though. And +3 on the way here for Rhizer. Army supply still, he's catching up now. But I'm not sure if he has what he needs to really counter this army. He's going to have to catch it while it's moving. And now Zealots and Immortals and Archons going to be the backbone of this army here. Phoenix on the way. Not too much more being made, though. Sensor tower up here, going to be able to keep this mech army safe. And Rhizer is finally catching up now. He has even workers. He's about even on army supply. Only needs just a little bit more as supply blocks right now. Oh, that's Liberator range. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Now these Hellions going to start making their way over here, just securing both Delnagas. Is able to spot this Warp Prism up on the top, so he will be nice and ready for that. And here comes Riddler, marching across the map, completely unspotted here from Rhizer. Rhizer has to catch this army while it's still moving if he wants to have a chance of beating this. But his army is trapped over here, and this siege tank line is moving across here, and is going to go ahead and set up to defeat this army. Liberators making a nice zone of liberation here. No Protoss units are going to be able to get inside that. Cloak's Banshee going to go ahead and start working on that. Could just be going for the Artosis pylon if he wanted. Decides against it. And now Siege Tank's going to go ahead and start taking out these assimilators. Going to take out the Nexus here in just a second as well. And Rhizer going to go ahead and move in from the other flank here. And decides against it. So now this base is going to go ahead and die here. And now Riddler in a very nice spot here. 195 to 162 army, or just overall supply. 142 to 106 army supply. And Rhizer is up on upgrades, 3-3 to only 1-1 here, or 2-1, excuse me. And now we're going to have to see if Rhizer is able to take this down. He's going to have to come from multiple flanks. These liberation zones doing such a great job of denying any zones of entry here. And the tank's going to get such good hits off against this clumped force here. And I don't know that he has the army here that he needs to really split this up and go for it. Hellions moving in now, going to get some free shots off on these Zealots. Every unit is so important here for Rhizer, and he's now committing now. But these Liberators are shredding these Archons on the left side here. Moving in on the right side, he's getting a little bit of ground here, but there's only 4 mortals remaining, and they're immediately getting taken down. So lots of tanks going down here, but there's still so many remaining. He's warming down in the middle there, but these Liberators standing strong, taking down more and more army here. The army supply is dropping for Rhizer, and the Riddler in such a good spot here. 74 army supply to 18. This army does get cleaned up. But Riddler in such a good spot, able to push right back in with the rest of this army up here. And I don't know that he has the production required to hold this. He's moving up here. He's regrouping. Where's the rest of Riddler's army? He's moving across now. Okay. 85 army supply to 30 now. The army supply is dropping. More and more getting killed here. Archons getting taken out. That warp is not long for this world. Not even able to get a warp in there. Very nice focus fire by the Cyclones. And now more and more Immortals dying here. That one barely escapes. Shield battery coming in clutch. The Immortals are the key here, and they're not going to be able to do too much against this. Unfortunately, the Riddler takes the series 2-1 and will move on to face Canning. Very, very well played there. Really did a great job of recovering from that damage, and Rhizer just wasn't really able to keep up with it. Fell behind in economy, fell behind in production, and those Liberators able to deny mining for so long, staying alive on that third base for minutes on end, staying alive in the main, just continuing to keep pressure up. Oh man, that's just what a great series there. Thank you so much for the Alarice for the host, Alarice, I think I was told it was pronounced. Thank you Averin for the sub. Thank you Hella TCM for the